Very first thing that we would like to talk about is basically generation of those objects when we are in these complex environments. In many of these places, it's very hard to send drones, but somebody can go easily take some images there. And we have these capabilities now with Gen AI to upload some images from that environment. It could be pipes, it could be even a big airplane, it could be any sort of environment, and we could 3D model generate it, put it on environment, scale it, place it, copy it, paste it. So in that sense, we'd be very easily, very cheap, and very fast, model the complexities that we have there. But let's put that, all together. Let's say, we look at a warehouse environment, and in the warehouses, we have different things. We have our shelves there that, they come with different types of materials and different types of models that we have there. We have lift trucks that are running around. We have the pipes and equipments there. And we could easily, within minutes, create a 2D model of these environments, put them all there. Here you see some of the pipes that were generated just by some images, the HVAC system, other type of structure there. And in some of these environments, sometimes you say, I have some trucks that are coming in. How does that change when my users are outside with the scanners? You generate those trucks, you put it there, and you basically see how that's going to impact, your environment and your design there. And, having this kind of capabilities and sharing that with your customer from the very early stage of the conversation, helps you to, get that trust and, build the network much faster. We could go to much more complex environments. For example, we talk about petrochemical plants, and there it's way more complex because you have your tanks there, but you have a lot of different types of structure there, different types of platforms that are not uniform. There are spaces between them. You have people that work on it in different level. And it's not that easy to go and send drones and, get even the permission. But again, with new capabilities we have with agents and Gen AI, we could generate these. You see these pipes and these platforms. Somebody took a few pictures, they uploaded within a few minutes. We have these 3 models, and now we could see if my users are in different levels of this environment. Do I see that applications that I want working? And put that all together within your people who are on site, between your customer, with your design team, with the vendor, and all work on this together to make sure we get to that results pretty fast for these critical types of application that we have there. I want to go over that one step after. They talk about like Port of LA. And I think the first presentation, it's a very interesting environment. You have all sorts of cranes there. You have ships that they come and go. You have the trailers there, and having an accurate model makes a big difference. Here you could see these examples. These cranes were generated again with some images there. Even the cargo ship, we want to see how it's going to perform if we have users on top of it. Was generated there. All the different types of containers that we have there were generated, the buildings that we had. And again, these were in a few minutes of range without needing to send people anywhere. And, once we did that, say, okay, now we have this, let's design a network for here and let's use AI and agents to do that. And they actually do a pretty good job these days. So you could see an AI generated design. It understands it's an outdoor environment. I cannot put my poles everywhere. Let me find the proper buildings in terms of their heights and their location. Let me find their corners. Based on those corners, I would place my radios with a sectorized antenna because that's what is needed in these environments, and get to that design there. And this really helps to get things moving very fast. One other concept that we have here is about the concept of hybrid networks, because there's not one network that could solve the problem. And airports are a good example for that. So you have indoor, outdoor environments. You have all the applications, that Rahul was talking about, and it's hard to model. Here we have an example of the airport. I think it's the DFW. So all these buildings were generated automatically, but we were able to go much further there. if you kind of look at inside, you could see all these airplanes that they were able to kind of generate, place it there, and all different types of tunnels that connect to the gates there, the tunnels that, cross one gate to the other. They were all there. And, once we have this accurate modeling of the environment, from there we could move on that say, okay, now I have different types of networks for this environment. How they're going to perform and what is the optimal location for them. So here an example, we start, for example, with the LoRa network that we have for different sensors. They're at 900 megahertz, so they could go basically very deep with the environment. They could be placed, and then they could find the heat maps right away and see, how's my LoRa coverage there. From there, I have a parking lot there, and I have a Wi-Fi network, and I want to see what's the performance of my Wi-Fi in that parking. So I place my Wi-Fi radios. I see the performance there. I see what are the areas. I'm at the edge, and I'm good. And then finally, we need a comprehensive private cellular network there that understand that's where all these applications are going to be served. So even I put my airplanes there, how that's going to impact my hardware. But these environments, you have indoor and outdoor, how the signal from outside radio is going to go inside and the leakages that happen within different environments. So we could have some comprehensive design for our system there and make sure that we are able to show that to our customer kind of from the get-go and make that decision process much easier for everyone. And finally, usually these projects come with enterprises in land and expand. For example, they have a warehouse and you say, okay, this is a 1,000,000 square feet warehouse, but let's focus on the 50,000 square feet of it and see how that network performs. This is a new technology for me. So we go, we design, maybe we put 4 radios there and see that in this environment, how their AGVs, our sensors, video cameras work there. And once they see that, it's working, say, okay, now let's expand. You have a much larger environment, which is way more sophisticated, a lot of shelves there, and let's see how we could expand. So they see how much exactly the network is going to perform, how much it's going to cost, and that helps out to, get to the results much faster and make that, 2-6 months process, shortened to weeks there. And at the end of the day, they get that ROI much faster. And, to summarize, we start with an environment there. In that environment, it's indoor or outdoor. Creating that 3D digital twin of the environment is quite important there, that we be able to have the observability of what exactly is the complexities of this scene. And part of these applications are quite mobile. Things move around, so be able to add those applications there and see, okay, if my AGVs move around, how it's going to happen, how my airplanes move around, how that's going to impact basically my design there. And finally, that we did that, we go to the using AI engines to generate our coverage map, our capacity map, and all of those could happen within the conversations that we are going with the customers there live. And this is just focused on the design side of it, but we could think of it for the entire workflow. Instead of having an army of people who are sales engineers, who are solution architects, or network performance managers, they go on the operational side. We could have an army of basically agents, and then we could have leaders that are sitting on top of them and use it within our sales process, moving things on our workflow to make sure everyone's on the same page. Once we go to the design side of it, the same concept. We have different types of agents that they could design for different types of network. They can try for different types of case studies. They can stress test the network there. Once we go and put these networks on the site and collect the site survey data, we understand that, okay, where are the areas everything's good? So we could have agents that quickly test find where are the areas that are the problems there and what is the source of that problem. Is it about the change in the environment? Is it about the configuration changes that we had on the networks? Or is it about basically, power settings that we had there? And, then we go to the day two, and then, the network is performing there. And then we want to make sure about the failures, about their security concepts, concerns that we have, and about the upgrades. Having predictive models that's looking at the network and making sure that if the traffic is growing in which area, how can we go and augment this? And this could be done across all wireless technologies instead of using multiple different platforms and tools to be able to get there. We be able to do it all in one place with all different types of agents there. Uh, Maybe, Catherine, we could go